If you are a loose natural hair lady or guy looking at this, I think you should just take the plunge and just go on and lock your hair. Hey guys, it's me, Tania. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. For those of you who do not know who I am a lock head of almost 5 years. I'm also a mental health therapist and I am a health coach, and I make a lot of content on locks, of course, mental health, physical health, or wellness, and sometimes I make some content on social work. But tonight's video is going to be on loose hair in relation to locks. I have my little notes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points to make in reference to, I guess, preparing your loose natural hair to be in the best position whenever you're getting locks. Now, for those of you who have not checked out my loose hair versus lock hair video, I will put it on the screen here. I talked about just my perspective of my journey, my loose natural hair journey versus my lock journey, but I didn't really go into details about what I did to take care of my hair, or what I did to kind of mitigate not taking care of my hair. Because I'm not gonna lie, the last year of my loose natural hair journey, I didn't do the best I could as far as taking care of my hair, and I paid for it by having to cut a couple of inches of my hair off. And I don't want anyone who is thinking about locking their hair to have to go down that route. So I'm gonna be just listing some points and giving my perspective of how you can prepare your loose natural hair to be in the best state possible before locking your hair. All right, so the first thing that I want to mention is do a scalp check. All right, you really should be paying attention to your scalp or the skin, of course, on top of your head, because that plays a major part in how your hair grows and preventing hair breakage. Now, in terms of scalp care, if you are thinking about locks, make sure that you feel like you may or may not have a scalp condition, please go get your scalp checked out by a dermatologist so that you can figure out if you have a scalp condition. That way you can already have a prescribed maybe shampoo or medication to put on your scalp, and you'll know how to maneuver when it comes to taking care of your scalp and your new locks. That makes a major difference, especially with preventing or mitigating buildup, because if you have a scalp condition and you don't have that under control, that can just make your scalp go haywire, and there you are fighting buildup, trying to remove buildup out your scalp. But if you already have that control because you went to the doctor and you got it checked out before you start to lock your hair, that'll make your transition into having a head full of locks a little bit easier. So know what your scalp is going through before you lock your hair, okay? The next important thing that you should consider before locking your hair porosity. Now, for those who do not know what hair porosity is, essentially is you knowing how well your hair retains moisture. Okay, now usually it's broken down into high, low, and normal hair porosity. Now for me, I believe I have high porosity hair because it doesn't take any time for my hair to get soaked when I'm like rinsing and washing my hair under the shower. I also noticed when I was loose natural that whenever I would put moisture, I usually use a lot of thick creams and stuff like that, but whenever I would put moisturizing agents, my hair would still be dry. So knowing your hair porosity will help you to determine what type of products you may or may not be able to use as a result of whether or not your hair hangs on to moisture or if it loses moisture very quickly. So Bree Hall, she has a video on hair porosity.
Porosity is simply your hair's ability to absorb moisture and is broken down into 3 major categories: low, normal, and high porosity. Every strand of hair on your head has a cuticle. The cuticle looks almost like a bunch of shutters going down the hair strand and is there to protect your hair but it's also like the gatekeeper of your hair's moisture. Before I go any further with spilling facts to you all, I'm going to actually give you a porosity quiz. So even if you think you know your porosity, this may still be fun and informative to do. This quiz will require you to think extremely critically about your own hair and your own experience. I know there's certain things that's really just trendy to say about natural hair, but really identify with what you go through.
And she lays it out, very practical tips. I would strongly suggest you go check it out. I'm gonna link it right here, okay? The third thing, pay attention to how much direct heat you are applying to your hair. Now, when I was loose natural, I only attempted to straighten my hair one time and it did not work out. I've never, when I was loose natural, I have 4C hair. I never straightened my hair to the point that it was like bone straight. It would take a high amount of heat to get my hair bone straight. So,
no ma'am. No ma'am.
The picture that you just saw was the straightest my hair ever got as a loose natural. There is a connection between direct heat and breakage and direct heat and thinning of your hair. So what I would strongly suggest is to watch how much direct heat you put on your head. The next thing I would suggest is monitor your ends. I was loose natural for 4 years. Year 1 through 3, I did, you know, dust my ends, and I did a lot of care in reference to just making sure that my hair was even. But that last year, I had a lot going on in life, and I really didn't have the time to take care of my hair like I was supposed to. So I just let it go by the wayside. I would be rushing through, trying to detangle my hair. I'd be rushing, and that led to a lot of breakage, and I ended up having to cut off 2 inches of my hair to get the rough looking ends off. If you lock your hair with broken or split ends, and it might affect how your lock ends lock. They'll just be scraggly and dry looking. So I would strongly suggest making sure that your ends are healthy and that they are to a certain extent even when you are starting your locks, so that will help your lock ends lock as seamlessly as possible. Now the last point, so I would strongly recommend that if you have color treated loose natural hair, you should have a regimen already in place. But if you have color treated loose natural hair, don't let that regimen that you're using to maintain that color, don't let that go by the wayside whenever you install your starter locks. Because just because a lot of people see locks as a lower maintenance or a lower hassle hairstyle versus loose natural hair, you still need to monitor the colored part of your hair, because some people don't color the whole head, they'll color the tips or whatever. Monitor the colored part of your hair so that that doesn't negatively impact how your locks lock, and it doesn't negatively impact the amount of moisture that you're able to retain. So what you were doing as a loose natural, I would strongly recommend, and if it was working for you and you were retaining your growth, continue doing that, because that is only going to help your hair maintain its health as it's locking throughout the locking process, especially throughout that starter phase, baby lock phase, and that teenage phase when it starts to lock and bud. That's basically it. I wanted to come up here very briefly and talk to you guys, and I just wanted a lot of the questions that I was getting, the answers for those questions, to be in one place. I know what it's like to be thinking about locks and not really knowing exactly what to do. If you are a loose natural hair lady or guy looking at this, I think you should just take the plunge and just go on and lock your hair. Use 2-strand twists, because if you don't like them, you can just comb them out and you can have a bomb twist out, okay? Make sure you follow the tips that I've outlined in this video. Use 2-strand twists to start your locks, and you should be setting yourself up for a successful start. And that's about it. I just wanted to come up here, like I said, very briefly. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any other tips in reference to going from loose natural hair to locked hair, in reference to anything that I talked about in this video or something totally unrelated, to help people to have the healthiest starter locks possible, please leave them down in the comments below. If you know someone who is starting or wants to start locks and they're thinking about how to make their locks, I guess, the healthiest or the best that they can make them, please share this video with them. For those of you who are only here for my lock videos, I will see you guys later. Bye bye.